Shut up and sit down.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Midnight Showing. I'm Dan Connors.
And I'm Bayless Sunnycliff.
And this episode we saw Glass.
Ooh. Glass?
Okay, I'm going to start off... Actually, I'm going to flip it. I'm going to start off differently. Someone get my man, James McAvoy, some sort of award.
Oh my god, yes.
Like, I don't actually know if he got anything for Split, but please give him something.
Seriously.
Like, whatever, I don't even care. Like, Oscar, whatever.
Yeah.
It's just the littlest award from an elementary school in Nebraska. Give him something.
I mean, hopefully they've got at least a high school in Nebraska that's willing to give them an award. Because, I mean, you know, God, he did play incredibly well. I think it was well-deserved when we were seeing the credits, you know, and the first 13 names were listed, all of his personas, which I thought was hilarious and awesome.
Well, and then they put his actual name next to Kevin, which is, you know, like
the
real person. I thought that was cool, too. Well, you know. But... Okay, well, what'd you think of it in total?
It was incredible. Fantastic. I want to choose many words, all good, positive, of that same line. Holy, I was blown away with this movie. I knew it would be good.
Is it so? It's what you thought? No, I mean not like plot wise. Obviously, there's no way to know anything plot wise. But I mean like you thought it was good.
Yeah.
Like going into it, you thought it'd be good, and then it was like, okay, yeah, this is better.
And this is probably a good point to mention it. Yeah. I have not seen Unbreakable or Split.
I thought you saw Split.
Nope, I saw neither.
Oh, what the hell? Wait a minute.
But I was so excited about Glass. I mentioned it as little as possible.
Yeah,
so
you
that
said
you
like I really wanted to see this because I thought you saw Split and were hyped for it.
No, I saw Samuel L. Jackson playing Mr. Glass, and I was just taken aback. I was like, man, this is gonna be a real good movie. This is gonna be a banger.
See, now it's like if you thought McAvoy was good in this, like Split is an entire movie of just him.
See, I think that I prefer it actually this way.
Because as from seeing Split, having an entire movie of that is absolutely incredible.
I mean, here's the thing. The reason why I think I prefer it this way, just from my intuition, is he played it perfectly, by the way. I just want to put that. But it was sometimes a little draining to see these characters because I'm trying to get into this. Who is this? You know, who's this next character, right? And he does it so well, you know.
Well, this one they added more to.
Oh, really?
In Split, he kind of had a central, like, 6, I want to say, or something.
See.
This one they added the more... Because in Split, he was more, like... They said I think it's 23. He has 23. But he only really saw like 6. So I think they probably wanted to kind of up it and give him a little more like, okay, let's give him like 15 in this one. Even for it's like a split second. Like when he was speaking Spanish, that wasn't in Split. Like, it just, at least I don't remember.
Well, we only saw that guy once.
Yeah. Well, and
I mean,
like,
let's pour one out for that guy. Holy, sad dude.
Who?
That had a personality. Like he's just sitting there like, why is these people being killed? You know, like he was like totally against killing, and he was like, why the hell am I here? I like the
frat boy one. That goes funny. He's like, we almost got you, bro.
Oh yeah. He seemed more like a YouTube prankster, honestly. Like he seemed like just like an obnoxious prank like invasion kind of guy.
Yeah, I totally thought you saw Split. Like,
yeah, nope.
You gotta see it. It's so good.
Oh, I'm gonna now.
I mean, it doesn't go into as much of the we're just talking about Split, but as much into the actual mental side, it's kind of just a horror thriller of him being insane. This goes into more like, you know, this or this or this. They actually think about it, which was obviously like the main selling point of this movie is like, it's going to be psychological, and they kind of look into it. But then, you know, of course, the M. Night Shyamalan twists and all this stuff of like, and, you know, it's pretty obvious that Mr. Glass was the central character. It was named after him, and they were kind of selling it as him. We already have 2 movies of the other 2.
Yeah.
Obviously, he'd be the main character. But it was interesting how they were trying to sell it as, oh, no, this, like, doctor lady is the main character. But and they really pushed it until,
that
like,
was
an hour
twist.
And a half. And then all of a sudden, he takes over everything.
Seriously, I loved that aspect. Because he's built, you know, they're building up this new character. And, you know, at first, like... I know that at one point it's the Jeff, the Unbreakables. Well, Bruce Willis's son.
Oh,
He's
Joseph.
Joseph. He's going through the comics and he goes to the villains and he sees the Whisperer.
Yeah.
Right.
Whisper Man.
Yeah, Whisper Man, which I thought was supposed to be a metaphor. Like you leaned over and was like, oh, I wonder who the villain's
Yeah,
supposed to be.
I thought he was gonna start doing something.
Oh,
The son.
really?
I thought the son was gonna start doing.
I thought that was a metaphor for that she was the Whisper Man.
Well, I mean, isn't she kind of in the end?
Yeah, because the whole time she's trying to whisper in their ears like, hey,
Yeah.
you're not special. You're just like everyone else. You're tricking yourself, And both these two, they're starting to doubt themselves, right? And Mr. Glass, the one who's like doped up on so much medication, he is the one who's like, no.
Yeah,
like
they were like, this is so much heavy sedative, and he's just normal.
Yeah.
The whole time I get like he was not affected.
Well, the thing is that
no, he wasn't taking the pills.
Yeah, he wasn't.
That's what it was.
He got it that one time to get the aspirin.
Yeah.
And he put it in his little
the side thing to his wheelchair.
Yeah.
Or the arm.
And then every time that they gave him his pills, he swapped
hand.
them out and took the aspirin instead.
Man, those hospital attendants, like, it's all their fault.
Yeah.
Like, it straight up is all their fault.
Like, let's be honest. Yeah, let's go into them. They were awful. They were dead awful.
Yeah,
I mean,
they're
like that one guy, that one guy left at night before the other guy was even there, like in the front door.
Oh yeah, they met each other at the front.
Yeah,
door.
and he's like, "Oh, you're almost on time." It's like, isn't your job to stay until the other guy's shift starts? Like, isn't that somewhere in your job description?
From the start, they should have had always 2 at a time.
Yeah,
like
seriously,
from the very start. Like they're watching over. One guy is watching over 3 potential superheroes.
Yeah,
like
yeah, and they knew that, right? Like, who? Let's talk about that. Well, shit, we're bouncing all over. Like, were these guys in on the whole Clover cult?
I don't think so. Because the
rest
she gets sent in to do stuff.
You're right.
So it was just a random psych ward because there was so many other patients.
You're right.
Yeah, that was weird.
That was getting
because I saw the Clover when they snipe.
Yeah, when they sniped
when they sniped Kevin at the end.
I saw the Clover.
Yeah,
as well.
And I was like, why did they? I mean, obviously I knew they would bring it back up because they showed it, but like they really stopped on that, and I was like, oh, okay, this guy's wrist is important. Yeah. And then they
I thought it was supposed to be that he was Irish or something. That was the thing. It's like, oh yeah, those Irish snipers.
I was trying to think back to the first 2 movies of like, wait, have I seen somebody with that before? And like I couldn't remember.
Gosh, this was. I mean, not to go back too much on this, but I think this is the first movie I've ever seen without seeing the predecessor movies. So this is the first sequel I've seen without watching the normal base movies. And I gotta say they did a great job of. At no point did I feel like I was missing something.
Oh, like a standalone.
Because like I kind of got everything that was happening with these dynamics of these characters when they were being introduced. Even though I hadn't seen them before, I was like, oh, this is how they must have played in the other movies without being too over expository with what happened before.
They did it well with like Hedwig right at the beginning, where it was like, yeah, he was a kid, but then he was saying like the beast is gonna come. And didn't he change once before that to? I don't know.
Yeah, he was that gangster.
He was Patricia. He walks in as Patricia, and then he changes to Hedwig, and then he's the beast. So yeah, they did a good job with that, with kind of introducing him in that way. And then same thing with David Dunn. Like, you didn't really need to have to see Unbreakable to see this, which is very smart because that came out so long ago that like people. Like any normal like high school kid is not gonna have seen Unbreakable. Yeah, but they're gonna go see a new movie, Split and Glass, and so they did it really well where they kind of retold his whole story, but also paying homage to the previous one where they were like, okay, we're just assuming you know about the train crash. Train crash. What's it called? What's a train crash called? Because it's not a crash.
Train wreck.
Yeah, wreck. Yeah, because crash is when they collide.
Yeah. Gosh, I just gotta say this is kind of cool because I'm a total noob. I haven't seen the other 2 movies, and you have, so we can kind of talk about this whole dynamic because you're right. They probably factored it in a lot. This whole, like, This whole, like, yeah, some people haven't seen Unbreakable. They have to kind of reintroduce some characters, and they kind of have to bring stuff up, especially when it's really smart, because we find out later that the train was very important to this whole thing.
Yeah, they tied it back in pretty well.
It was, I gotta admit, I'm not the biggest fan of M. Night Shyamalan. You know, I don't dislike his movies, but the fact that there's always kind of a twist in it, you know, it's kind of leading you like, you know, it's like, come on, dude, you know,
like you feel like
you can't
almost...
trick me. I already know you're gonna try to trick me.
Yeah. So, well, okay. I was gonna say maybe you almost feel like betrayed, like every decision that is made, you just feel like it's just gonna be wasted at the end because something's gonna change anyways. Because I know some people say that about him, is that like you watch an hour and a half and then all of a sudden everything's switched and it's like, okay, why, like, I just watched an hour and a half for nothing because you just changed the whole script on me.
Yeah,
I've heard that before about him.
Really,
people don't like how. Yes, there's.
He changes the whole dynamic of the movie.
Yeah, like because like with the I don't know her name, but this psychiatric doctor lady, where she was just like,
Redhead.
no, this whole time I knew you were actually a superhero. I was faking convincing you that you weren't.
Yeah,
and so I've heard people say that, not about this movie, but just in general, where it's just like, okay, well. Then that's just a whole movie of you know, you just switched it right at the last 30 minutes.
I mean, I thought it was really brilliant because
I'm
it
not
was
like that. For the record, I'm not like that. I appreciate all the twists, and I'm all for randomly changing something up to like spice it up and gain tension again. But I have heard that.
I thought, like, I totally understand that point of view. You know, I mean, not for this movie, but for other movies, I can totally see that. You know, it's like, well, what? I mean, especially like, I don't know. I don't even remember most. Oh yeah, like, I mean, Sixth Sense. He did Sixth Sense. He did the only ones I know is Sixth Sense and Signs, and both of those were kind of cheesy. It's like, what? The aliens are afraid of water. Spoiler alert, by the way, if you haven't seen Signs yet, it's your own damn fault. Of water. Wait. And it goes full circle. Wait. Oh my god.
What?
For a second there, I actually thought Bruce Willis was in Signs.
Oh.
Yikes. Anyway, we're gonna move past that.
The whole him and just talking about Bruce Willis, the whole him and the son thing, that was just kind of weird to me. Yeah. They had a weird relationship where, like, I mean, at first I did not think that was the son, and then he was just like, okay, Dad, and I was like, oh, okay, you're the son, and then he was like his little, like, wingman kid or whatever. And then he's fighting for... I don't know. The guy was just kind of annoying to me. The son in general.
Definitely. He felt like a throwaway, kind of like they needed 3 people at the end of the movie. Yeah. Like, and so they had to have someone connect with Bruce Willis. Yeah. Especially... And that's kind of hard, especially when, you know, he lost his wife. It's like, well, you can't have the wife, you know. But I honestly... I want to follow up on that, because I think that on the topic of the switches, we're kind of all over the place, but that's kind of what you sign up for here when you come to the Midnight Show.
I mean, we just got back from it, so it's all still. Yeah. I mean, this is another one of those ones. You know, we'd say it all the time, but it's another one of those ones that is gonna take time to like fully be like, really wait, process. What the heck is going on in this movie?
Yeah. I mean, could you imagine him trying to do Annihilation?
Oh yeah,
dude, that would have been trippy to do Annihilation.
The first 30 minutes of the show would just be silence. Like, we would just be sitting there staring at each other.
Yeah. Anyway, so, but I love the dynamic of this, because it turns, like you said, you know, you think that this lady, like, you know, there's several things. This lady is the villain, you know.
You count her as a villain?
She's definitely a villain. She is definitely 100% a villain.
I never saw it like that.
The reason why I say this is because... And she's like kind of like an anti-villain, if that makes sense. You know, like an anti-hero. She's kind of an anti-villain in the idea that she's a villain still. She's a antagonist, I guess. But she has totally understandable motives and drive. And this whole like reasoning of why she's doing this makes sense. But our protagonists are the three superheroes, you know?
I mean, I wouldn't say they're protagonists.
They are definitely protagonists. I mean, that just in the... I mean, Mr. Glass is not a hero.
Yeah.
Kevin is not a hero.
Kevin's a hero to me. He kept the light at the end.
Yeah. But they're both protagonists, right? So the idea is that we follow them as the main characters of the story is essentially that. I mean, they're not main characters. It's more than that. They are the people we get behind, right? Especially at the end. Towards the end, we're kind of rooting for them, especially because it's Mr. Glass's movie, And when it ends like that in such a fiery ball of passion and explosions, and then it's like he's cleaning up the mess after he's already exited the scene. You know what I mean? Like, that was beautiful. That was honestly amazing, because then it turns from they start building this up to switching it from this is going to be some big battle, like, there's going to be, like she mentioned very, very adequately, the hero, the villain, and the anarchist.
Yeah.
Like, it's going to be these three superpowers going against, the rest of humanity and trying to make sure that, they're seen, right? But in reality, he's already 10 steps ahead of all of them. And he doesn't even mention it to the audience because only idiots monologue. But gosh, I don't know. It was very moving because you see these characters shift so much. They go from, I mean, honestly, she had me convinced. She had me convinced they weren't special.
Oh, yes. Yeah,
and the whole time I was like, God, are they going to pull some weird shit where they're not superheroes? They're just crazy?
I mean, that's what they try to sell you on the whole time.
That's true. M. Night Shyamalan metagames himself so hard that he tries to throw you fake bones. He's, you come into it thinking, I know this guy. He's trying to throw me a bone. He's trying to twist it up on me. I'm already hip to his game. Oh my God, they're not actually superheroes. I don't know. Whoa. I can't even believe I totally forgot to ask you, what is your opinion of the movie? One word to summarize it up.
I mean, the first thing that instantly pops in my head is confusing. Like, I don't know. Like, you're on board and it's like, okay, so, like, I mean, like you were saying, you go through it thinking you're going to get convinced that they're not real. Yeah. And then that's just the end, is that she saves the world or whatever because she proves once and for all that they're not that they're not real superheroes. Yeah. I actually thought, yes, that's where I thought it was going, but because, like, obviously directors and all, I knew that it wasn't.
Yeah.
But in a way, I wish that there was that movie in an alternate universe. There was that movie where she fixes it, somehow magically fixes Kevin, where he's just a normal dude now. Yeah. That would actually be almost really interesting to see that kind of side where he becomes normal and like can actually be friends with Casey instead of just being friends with her for 5 seconds and then losing the light.
Yeah. Well, losing his life, more like.
That was a weird switch up. Like,
that they died?
No, well, I mean, I don't know. I didn't really expect them to die.
Yeah, neither did I.
I mean, as soon as Glass got punched in the gut, I was like, okay, he's gone.
Yeah, he's
dead. Like, I thought they would at least try to save. I thought they were definitely saving Dunn.
The hero. Yeah, Dunn, yeah.
I thought they were just like kind of like, because he was.
I mean, what was that?
Well, he was getting drowned, and then she was like, look at do the touch thing.
I totally thought that he was just gonna pull it out there, like he was gonna punch the guy.
Oh no, I didn't think that.
Oh really?
I thought once he saw her kind of vision thing, I thought the dunking was him being like tested or just kind of lowering him down to be able to see her like vision thing. So I thought once he saw the vision thing, they would stop drowning him.
Yeah.
But then they just straight up killed him. Like, now, that's what I was really confused by like, I mean, yes, you want him out of the picture, but then it got more confusing because then at the end she was like, we're not executors. Like, the whole point of this program was to convince them so that we don't have to deal with them anymore. We don't have to kill them. But then she tells him the truth and then kills him. And so that was really confusing. Oh, I was saying with Kevin getting killed. Yeah, that was crazy in the sense, like, he was Kevin for that minute.
Yeah.
And he was actually seeing Casey, and he looked like he was going to hold the light for a while. And then you see the red dot on her hair. And I was like, oh, shoot. Like, I mean, obviously you knew there was cops around, but...
You didn't know there was a sniper hiding on top of the van.
It was a weird switch where it was just like, oh, okay.
They go from these bumbling buffoons with some riot shields
to
a full-on trained sniper.
I think it was supposed to be... Well, that guy was part of the Clover.
Yeah, I know. But what I'm saying is that, all of a sudden you didn't expect it. You're like, wait, what? Like, they brought out that was a fast escalation.
It was just, I can kind of understand getting rid of Kevin.
Yeah.
He was pretty freaking loose cannon.
Exactly.
But Dunn was the big one that I was just like, okay, I mean, you could have... He was pretty much a normal dude.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, he was a vigilante and whatever, and, like, the son was helping him be basically Batman, but...
Okay.
You know, like...
How about this? How about if I said that 2 of them live in this movie, in an alternate universe, they make another movie where only 2 of them live? Who do you think they are?
Oh, Dunn and Kevin. For sure. They're not going to keep Glass alive.
What?
Yeah. Because he's the mastermind. He's the evil dude, whatever. They're going to... They would fix Kevin, so he's Kevin, and then they just, like... Dunn is just, like, a normal guy.
I totally
There's
think
no
that...
way they keep...
No, in an alternate universe where they keep only 2 of them alive, Kevin gets shot in the gut, and Glass makes it out by some... I don't know. You know, he pulls his mastermind stuff, and it turns out that was a dummy him or something.
That's what I thought for a minute. I thought it was going to be some weird, like, force projection or something.
I'm telling you, because, like, at the end of the movie, once they're all dead, you're like, there's no way that's how this ends. Like, this is Glass, you know? Like, he found a way to get out of this whole thing, to get them all out of here, you know?
Well, and they give you the scene, too, of him doing the code. They kind of just hover over it, though, where they're just like, oh, he's probably stealing more files or something.
Yeah.
Because they kind of brush it over along with the whole basement escape. That part was a cool tie-in where she's like, oh, he didn't... Like, he could have just went out the side door, but he didn't. He went through the basement to get the most cameras.
Yeah, and, like, it was one of those things where I think someone more observant and more aware of the current, like... You know, would get a feel like, oh, okay, I see where they're going with this. Because when he was coding, I totally forgot about that. Because, like you said, it was confusing. At parts, you're just kind of in for the ride, you know? You're kind of there, just kind of letting it ride, you know?
And then, and that was at, like, peak, like, tension, too. Because, like, Beast just killed a guy, and then, like, Dunn got out, and then they're escaping, and they're disguised. Like, it was a whole peak of tension.
It was really, really built well.
Yeah.
You know, even though they highlighted it so highly, you know, it's one of those things where, you know when he zoomed up in on his wrist, you knew that was important, right?
Wait, what?
On the sniper's wrist, you know?
Oh, yeah.
That was such a small shot in comparison to him, like, coding this whole thing, you know? But yet, the coding thing was like, I mean, I guess it's less immediately relevant. You know, you're kind of like, you put it in the back of your mind, and then while all this other crazy stuff's going on, you forget. And then I remember when we got to the part where they're all dead, I'm starting to think, okay, what did he do? This doesn't end this way. What did he think of? What did he do? How did why did he... And I was noticing that. I was, like, thinking of that scene, like, why did he go through the basement? And then I couldn't help but think... I was thinking some weird stuff, too. Astral projection, or, like, you know, some kind of, like, weird...
I was just thinking he went through the basement just to try to avoid eyes. Like, I mean, because that's kind of the stereotypical, but, like, the movie trope where it's like, okay, we can't just run out the front door.
Yeah.
Which... From like a mental facility, why was there no guards outside? Like there was like 3 guards in that whole place.
Yeah.
But what was the point? Since we're talking about outside and the whole whatever, what were those volunteers for? There's like those 2 volunteers that he throws in the van, and then like they're just in the van.
Yeah.
I didn't really understand what their purpose was. I guess to make maybe Dunn look nice,
like he's saving more people,
and then the other thing is just it made a cool shot to be inside and then look out the windows.
That must have been.
But I don't know. It was just kind of weird to just.
Because why else would they be in that van? You know, I thought it was really good because half the time you couldn't even see them, and yet it was still really engaging.
Yeah, and you were seeing the dents. I don't know. That was just one thing that I was thinking. Like, what is the purpose of these people? Because then they just get saved and left or leave or whatever.
I think it's definitely to add more tension to that scene because you have so much.
Yeah, I guess,
the more moving parts in that scene, the better because it's distracting us more and more from what happened we watched it all happen. But what is going on? You know, the moving parts are meant to keep us busy while he's orchestrating the end of the movie, right? So when you have people are all around that scene. you've got the 4 riot guards in the shipping container. What's that doing there, first of all?
Yeah, they just kind of stuffed him in there.
Yeah, it's like, isn't that supposed to be like at a dock, like, a loading dock for ships? Not like...
Yeah, that's pretty weird.
Right next to a
mental
hospital? Like, what? Do they get their feed there? Like, anyway, yeah, and then you've got the van, you've got the many police cars.
Those cops didn't do anything.
They just sat there. That was the funniest thing, is that they just kept walking in like, oh, well, we've heard that 2 units got dispatched here, and they aren't in comms. We better walk up without any guns whatsoever.
If I saw that, the shot of the beast bounding on all 4s, if I saw that, and I would lose my job. Like, I wouldn't walk up to that. I'm like, okay, I had 2 years of being a cop. I'm good.
Yeah.
Like, I served my area.
Yeah.
I'm good with that.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
That side shot
I don't feel
pouncing
bad
like that,
or unproud at all.
I wonder what stunt guy actually had to do that.
I was thinking about
that.
I was wondering how they shot that, because obviously that wasn't a man. I'm gonna spoil it right now, guys. That was not him.
Oh, James McAvoy?
Yeah, like, well, I mean,
it could have been him. I honestly wouldn't be surprised if it was him.
It could have been him. I meant unaided. That was not him bounding.
Yeah, he was
like
on
that.
wires.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a part where he kind of floated for a second.
Yeah, and I was like, that's not even how animals run.
It's pretty close.
It was very...
For a human animal hybrid.
For a human, yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
definitely.
like...
They did a really good job of making the beast a beast, There were some parts that were like, why is he a lion now? He's like...
he's like roaring him. So.
Yeah, and it's like...
because in Split, the beast is an origin from him working at the zoo. And so he took the personalities from all the animals that he worked with. Spoiler alert for the end of Split, but like that's where the beast comes out, is kind of at the end, and he's like, yeah, because
see, there we go. That's why it's cool that I didn't see that movie, but you did, and so bam.
Yeah, but now I'm just spoiling Split for you.
Well, it's still a good movie.
I mean,
it's
I guess
definitely worth watching.
He worked at the. That's actually a huge spoiler, because you don't know who he is. Or where he comes from.
I did know that. Well, from this movie,
well, yeah, he said ex Pittsburgh Zoo.
Oh, it was all over the place, because her on her jacket was zoo employee.
Yeah, Pittsburgh Zoo.
And so that's how I knew that they must have known each other from the zoo, because she had the jacket.
Yeah.
I didn't know. Well, I guess she might not have been one.
He abducted her.
Yeah, so he just kept it. She just kept the jacket then.
Yeah.
I see.
It was really weird how, from seeing Split, it was really weird how they tried to bring her back in, because she was like, it was her and McAvoy, the main characters of Split.
Yeah.
And it was kind of weird how they kind of tried to just slide her into the story somehow and make her be relevant.
I see.
In this one. Like,
so it's kind of similar to the whole son of Bruce Willis kind of thing.
Yeah, like she was just kind of there. I mean. In Split, yes, she's the one who originally brings out Kevin.
Yeah. And
so that's why she can do it now. And so she makes a little more sense than like I'm probably leading on. But like, it was just weird how they used her with this.
Honestly,
like, she just kind of like, especially with the doctor, was just like, no, you can't do anything.
Yeah.
Then she lets her do it.
Yeah.
Then she realizes she's important, and then she's like, okay, I need you for everything.
Yeah, exactly. Like she was like, no, you're the victim. As she's pulling out her key card to let her in. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, what? Dude, make up your mind. And then, she's like, please, I need your help. It's like, oh, Jesus, weren't you literally just saying, like, get the hell out, Man.
It was weird how they kind of put her into the story in a weird way.
As a total noob.
The ending was really good, though, with her and Kevin.
Oh, yeah.
That was amazing. And seeing freaking McAvoy having to go through those, like, 7 characters in, like, 2 minutes. Like, oh my god.
Honestly, I was kind of choking up when the 9-year-old came out.
Yeah. That was sad.
I was like, damn.
In Split, there's a whole part of him. He like takes her to his room, and it's like a whole kid's room, and he's like showing her around, and like she's starting to realize that he's having the personalities.
Oh yeah.
Like it's kind of one of the first times, and she's like, oh. He's not like joking around. Remember the cheerleaders at the beginning? She's like, oh, he's sick. Like, stop trying to actually ask him questions.
Yeah.
It was kind of that same scene with her where she was like, oh, this guy's actually like messed up. He actually thinks he's a 9-year-old.
Yeah.
Because he's got like paint, like color, like looks like it's drawn by a 9-year-old.
Yeah.
All up on the walls and all. It's pretty sad.
Yeah.
And well, and the whole backstory behind it of the like intense abuse of how like Kevin doesn't want to come to the light because he wanted to hide from the light and all this stuff.
Yeah.
Like the actual psychology behind that character as a whole is like,
there were a lot of words, you know, like as someone who didn't see Split, you know, the horde, the light, you know, that weren't explained more than just by context, and it was really brilliant. I don't know how it was done in Split, but these interestingly, which I don't know if it makes a whole lot of sense, but the stuff from Split, well, specifically from Kevin's story, right, was just powerful because like it seemed so natural in this movie, you know, it seemed really well done as someone who hadn't seen Split. So like all the things like the past of the character as well as the characters associated with him seemed like they just fit right in. Like if you were to ask me of the three people that didn't belong, you know, like the three side people, the three that knew each of them, right? Like Glass's mother, you know, Casey and Dunn's son, Joseph. Casey would easily be the one that I would pick. Like, yep, she belongs in this movie, regardless of whether there's this scene at the end where the other two are there. You know what I mean? Like, she, I think, belongs in this movie more than anyone else.
Yeah.
Other than the three, obviously.
Well, she also had
three.
A whole other movie to be built as a character too.
Yeah.
They already kind of knew what she was.
I just wanted to mention that, like, opposed to a more critical opinion of her character and whether she, you know, kind of like it felt a little forced at times. I think that as a total stranger to this whole movie, it felt very important that she was in here because honestly, like, it was weird that they had both of them researching, you know? Like, why were they both, well, actually, all three of them were. All three of the side characters.
Well, the mom wasn't.
Yeah, didn't she? Oh, no, she knew because he always talked to her about it, probably.
Yeah, which, wait.
She mentioned a lot of stuff about comic books towards the end.
So does that mean she was, like, in on it?
No, her son was
like
a crazy genius guy, yeah.
Yeah.
Which I think Glass's character was probably...
Yeah, we haven't even really talked... This is, like, already getting, like, halfway through, and we haven't even really talked about him, the main character.
I had totally forgot.
Because it's just hard. It is hard to talk about these other characters. Even Bruce Willis. Like, they just get overshadowed by James McAvoy.
Yeah.
Like, it's really hard to be in the same movie as that character because...
Yeah.
I mean, so 13 whatever characters it is. Because it's just, like, it's hard. You know, and so, like...
I think Glass...
Sorry that we're just now talking about it, but... It's really, like, he's just kind of the selling point. But I think that's the whole point of the movie is that you're focused on these other two, but really you should have been focused on Glass the whole time.
Yeah, exactly. So I think in a way he's the mastermind behind the scenes, you know?
So it does work perfectly where it's like, oh, I want to learn everything about Kevin and his characters and then Dunn and all of what he's got going on. But then really it's like, oh, we should have been paying attention to Glass this entire time.
And that's just an entirety. That's what this whole movie was. This whole time, you know, for an hour and a half, like you said, we're seeing Glass in a wheelchair.
Yeah, that took
twitching,
a little long for me.
You know, really, I felt it was perfect.
I wanted him to just kind of get to the punches a little faster. At least say something, talk. The part where he finally reveals that he when he goes and talks to Patricia, I thought that kind of should have came a little earlier because I got kind of bored with just seeing him like blankly staring. Yeah. There was a couple scenes where it was just like, okay, like I get it.
The scene with the flashlight was like...
That was so random because even like to me, why was that needed? Because that guard guy ends up being irrelevant. So it wasn't even like... I don't know. I guess it wasn't because then like it was. It was supposed to. I'm figuring it out as I'm talking about it because that means Glass knew that this guy was being an asshole, so that when he let the Beast out, he could tell the Beast that this guy's hurt me. Then Beast killed that guy to fuel Beast to help Glass.
I mean, really,
it was just a long scene too.
Yeah,
it was very long.
It was very long. I was spooked the whole time. I was on the edge of my seat. Yeah, that scene. I was. Especially before he caught it. I thought he was going to break his legs.
Oh, like hit it
Well,
instead
no.
of dropping, or like,
No, I thought he would have just dropped it and it would have broken his legs.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like he said, it's heavy. And even if it wasn't heavy, it sounds like when Glass stood up in the final scene
and he falls over
and he breaks both of his legs somehow. Yeah. I mean, that's an atonement to who he is. He's Glass. I assume it's gotten worse over the years because when he was a kid, he was walking around fine.
He didn't. The standing up didn't break his legs. He stood up and fell down, and that broke his legs.
Oh.
Because he stood up and stumbled, and then his kneecap broke.
I see. Yeah. Okay.
So I don't think it was just him standing that.
I wasn't.
I mean, it could be. I mean, that's a lot of weight.
No, I think you're right. I think you're right. It didn't immediately break. So yeah.
Well, but I mean, just in general, like the reason he was in a wheelchair, because there was that shot of him walking in a cane, off the train, like right at the end. He was walking off the train in a cane, and so, like, yeah, it's definitely
it's possible for him. Gosh, but yeah, the way I saw it was that you're right. Like, we've got a couple guys. We've got a couple really. You've got Dunn, who's the really solid character. You know, he's the hero. He's the hero always when you need him to be. He's never gonna be this loose cannon wild guy. You know. Then you've got the anarchist, James McAvoy. You know. He's playing this. You can't even really tell what he's gonna do. You know, he's always a new character. He's always his direction, and his direction's always in a sort of predictable way. But if you turn to him, he goes a whole new way, like we saw with Glass. You know, Glass was easily able to make friends with the Beast, even, and tame him, if you will, to play in his little, I don't know, thing. Whatever. Nice. What do people play?
In a play.
Oh yes, that's what I was gonna say. Yeah, so play in his little play. You know, as a smarter man than he once said. I think it's brilliant. And then you've got the subtle character, right? Where my favorite thing about this was that we don't even know how sober he was. We knew that once he got out of his
Glass.
Yeah, Glass.
Oh. Yeah.
Once he got out for the first time, we knew then he had the aspirin. But why was he able to get out? How did he get out? How sober was he? Did he do something else? Like really, how sober was he? Because we knew he played it off that one time when he totally got out easily and then came back and just poker faced that guy when he was trying to drop the flashlight on his legs. And that's why I think that Glass is, you're right, the underrated, like, surprisingly the underrated star of the movie, you know, like
his own movie.
Yeah, exactly. Like he subtly became the main character of his own movie after being twisted into thinking it's not.
Even though apparently he's the main character of the other two movies as well, because he caused all
exactly. Like, I think this was really. I almost wish. I kind of like this because. Okay, let me explain myself a little bit.
What are you talking about?
I was about to say, this is why I kind of regret that we did this the night of, right? Because this is a complex movie. This is a puzzle box.
This is also like first thoughts, you know.
Yeah, and that's exactly why.
That's the whole point of this. This is probably what everybody's going to be thinking.
We're figuring this out right here, you know. Like we're deciphering this puzzle box together right now. Because like, God, this was a doozy. I remember the first thing that you said out of that movie was. That was crazy.
Yeah.
And it was like, man, I mean, it was a wild ride. It was a lot of fun. Like I gotta admit, I'm really easily led on to movies. Like I'm always like thinking, oh, this is where they want me to look. Okay, I'll look over there then, you know. But gosh, this is really brilliantly well done because after the fact, I'm able to see like that's why they did this, and you know, talking about this is really. Improve my appreciation of the movie.
I'm so glad that they didn't actually do the fight at the tower type thing.
I know, right?
Like I was like, oh god, we're actually gonna have to watch them fight in front of this tower in front of all these people.
Seriously,
like,
man.
I mean, yeah, it's kind of you know, the whole point is that that's kind of a comic book thing. That was his whole point. But so I totally see where they were going with it. But I was relieved when they started fighting there. I was confused at first because I was like, wait, I thought they were going to show down over there.
Yeah.
But then I was like, oh, thank God. Like, we're just having it here. You know? But yeah, I was glad about that. I mean, I know the whole kind of point of this movie, at least, which is, it's really interesting too because it took a weird spin of like, oh, at least coming from Split, you know, the most recent one.
Yeah.
It was just like, oh, this is like a horror thriller, whatever. And then, like, you know, this one's not really a spoiler because you've already seen this one, but right at the end they show the teaser that it's in the same universe as Unbreakable. Like right at the end, you see Dunn in a coffee shop or whatever. And so
wait, what?
In Split, you go the whole movie without, like, it's just, you just think you're going in to see a movie from M. Night Shyamalan, and then right at the end you see Dunn in a diner, and that means that it's part of the same universe as Unbreakable.
Oh, in Split. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
I was thinking. I thought you meant for Glass.
Oh no.
So I was like straight thinking like, didn't we see Dunn this whole movie?
No, like so in Split it was like right at the end. And
Okay.
So it was,
okay.
It's interesting how at least in Split you just think it's a horror thriller thing.
Yeah.
And then they're like, oh, it's actually part of that. And then this, they go really hardcore into the actual superhero, villain, hero type thing. And it's really interesting also the timing of this because people are kind of at peak superhero burnout at this time.
Yeah.
You know, Marvel's put out a bajillion movies. They've made a bajillion dollars.
They've oversaturated the market.
Yeah,
I mean,
so
Ant-Man.
really,
look at the last Ant-Man that we did. Holy.
So it's really interesting the kind of way that they brought this out, the timing that it was brought out in, and the way that they wrote it. It was like, you know, this is as real life as superheroes can get, this is actually like a real life superhero thing.
Yeah.
And so it's interesting how they brought that in of being like, they didn't even try to hide it of being like, oh, they didn't say this person has superhuman abilities.
Yeah.
They were just like, oh, you actually just think this is a comic book. Like they just out front said that. They went to comic book shops, they said comic books.
And
you know,
that is, I think, the brilliance of this, because they really hard sell this idea that we've been making lore for thousands of years. They said 10,000 years, right?
Yeah.
For 10,000 years, I mean, more than that, we've been making lore about fantastical things, you know?
Humans been around that long? Have we only been around 10,000 years?
No, we were around in 14,000 BC, at least.
So 20,000?
I think that's when...
that's not what the math is. 15,000?
No, that's just 2,000 plus 14, so it's 16,000.
Oh.
At least. I'm pretty sure Mesopotamia was founded at least by then.
By 14,000
14,000 BC. By the way, I might be just pulling these numbers out of my ass.
Yeah, I don't know. That seems like a very short amount of time.
We have only really...
I guess for modern humans, though.
This is civilization. You know, this is when civilization was born in Mesopotamia.
Well, no. I'm talking humans. Neanderthals.
Oh, shit. Well, that's been a while then.
Yeah, that's what I'm asking.
I don't know if we've been thinking of things complex enough to be lore since then.
So in this, they were specifically talking about...
the lore made by, like, civilizations, you know, vampires. You know, like, I mean, not, that's a very recent thing in comparison, but, you know, gods, you know, creatures, you know, the Greeks had thousands of, you know, that's what I think the beauty is, that they bring in these, not just comic books, but they open up, like, damn, for 10,000 years we've been making stories. What if we've been making stories about people? You know, what if we've been making stories about super beings?
Yeah, that's what Glass was kind of talking
about. You know,
was
and
that the strongman wasn't a made-up story. The strongman was an actual, like, super strong guy.
Yeah.
And they took... What did he say? They took spandex came from the strongman outfit. Like he said, Superman's spandex on the outside of his tights came from the strongmen of old.
Oh, yeah.
That's what they would wear. You know, so it was interesting how they kind of tied that into being like, there's real world applications. There's real world scenarios where this is part of it.
Yeah.
And where they pull stuff from to make these comic book type things. And, you know, it doesn't even have to be like, because comic books obviously a modern term, but like any kind of story like that, like you were saying, Greeks and all that.
Yeah.
But yeah, the whole point of that, this isn't fiction, it's actually based off of something else.
Yeah.
Or something real.
And that's what you said. it's not a superhero film. It's a real world film. Now it's all of a sudden a thriller because it's not just about superheroes. It's about what if. You know, this question, what if this is the case? What if we're living in a world where there's Glass, there's Dunn,
that's the whole ending where they're saying like, we need people to know that it's out there so that people can realize their true potential and all that stuff. While
we're on this topic, let's say you saw these clips of these guys doing these things.
Yeah, I'd be horrified.
I would not. I'd be like, this is
if
obviously...
I saw Beast climbing a wall like that...
In real life, yeah.
If I saw a clip, I'd be pretty scared. If I was like, that guy's out there... Because they didn't say he was killed. They were just like, he's escaped. The thing said, like,
but the point is, like, I would be skeptical. I'd be like, no, this isn't real. Come on. A guy can't climb on the top of a ceiling. A guy can't bend... I mean, look how he's bending that steel. That's why I think it was an iconic scene, because it's like... That was him doing it very slowly, right? So it's almost applicable to real life, right?
That's pretty badass when he kicked that door down.
Which one?
When Dunn kicked the metal door down.
Oh, yeah, the
he
one that was
just kind of like
him?
walks out and like
Yeah.
looks up at the camera. That was a pretty badass scene. Because they cut it really interesting where the door actually blasts off.
Yeah.
Like he was struggling at first, and then it actually...
I think it was kind of just... I always imagine that scene as like... He's kind of just... still worried that he's going to try and he's going to fail. You know, he's not strong. That's what he's worried about. He's worried that he's in his own mind, you know? They really did a number of... Like, this is why I'm terrified of mental psychiatric places. They'll convince anyone they're crazy. I recently watched a TED Talk on this. That, like, it is very common to be diagnosed as a psychopath when someone's looking to label you as a psychopath. Does it make sense?
But are you a superhero?
Well, I could be if I was a psychopath.
I wish that it was already a very long scene, but I wish the whole 3-on-1 therapy session thing went longer.
Yeah.
Like
it was the iconic scene.
Long. It was very long.
Really?
Oh yeah, that was a long scene because she kept switching between all of them. Obviously, it's different scenes because she was talking to each one of them and there's different cuts. But like that whole scenario, like as soon as it started and I realized that it was a long scene, like halfway through, I was like, oh, this is a really long scene. But then I was like, I hope this goes on for just like 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Of just diving all the way into it.
Seriously, because she was really dissecting these two. Just really putting them under the microscope.
Well, that's why I thought, based off the trailer at least, the first one, what I thought was going to happen was that Glass starts talking during that. And then he starts... I thought what would happen is that she's convincing Kevin and Dunn that they're not superheroes. And he starts talking and saying and convincing them as they're in the same room that they are true. And then there's this whole dynamic of like them kind of arguing with each other. But he was just like... He was playing the dumb card the whole time. That's just what I thought would happen. But yeah, I wish that scene would have almost gone longer. It was interesting of seeing.
It was really cool to see them all three in the same room at the same time. Yeah, and the shots
of just like all of them sitting there together, and then that's why I don't know. It made it a little less badass to me to see Glass just kind of doped out over there. Like I wish he was actually like up and like because then it's actually like 3 superheroes sitting there instead of 2, and then there's just a guy in a wheelchair. Because by then we didn't know that he was anything really special. Yeah. They just said he was smart. Yeah. So it made it a little less impactful for me to just see this guy in a wheelchair.
I don't know. Yeah, I totally get that. Like, no, I mean, when I was going through this movie, I admit I didn't feel that way. But, like, I should have, probably. We're going through this whole movie. We haven't seen anything from this guy. The only thing we saw, which admittedly was pretty cool, is when he gets out of it just randomly. You know, when they find him? Oh, yeah. They're like, how did you get out? Yeah, how did he get out? Oh, put him back in the room.
I wonder what he was going for with that. Like,
why he was getting the aspirin. That's what he did.
Oh, I didn't piece that together.
Yeah, okay. That's all he did. He didn't touch any of the medicine.
I thought when he said that, that was just off camera. I didn't think we saw that scene.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes a lot more sense.
Yeah, we saw that scene. He escaped, and the amazing thing was this is when he was drugged. That's when I was like,
yeah, okay, I'm on.
My,
I'm on the same page now.
Holy, like this guy's smurfing.
That was intense when he cut that guy's throat. Did you hear the people gasp in our theater?
I did not. Yeah. I think I was gasping.
So there was a couple that like really loudly gasped because it was very sudden.
It was It was intense, like,
because it was so
and
chill.
then all he does is he says it was a pain in the ass to find the right piece.
Yeah.
And, it's
But, and he even says, like, your paintings are crooked.
yeah,
Because he was, like, trying to get
that
it
was
to break
brilliant.
it,
That was
you know?
brilliant.
I liked that guy. That guy was cool. I didn't like the other one, but I liked the first one.
Really? I hated that dude more. The guy who got his throat cut.
Oh, I like that guy better than the other guy.
I just felt like he was really demeaning to him. Like, hey, you know, like, I'm sitting here on your bed while you're staring off into nowhere land because you're dumb.
I didn't think
you
it
know?
was, well, I mean,
And then he was like,
if you were in that situation though, you think that he's actually just comatose. So like, I feel like any normal person would just sit in front of him and kind of chat. I didn't really take it as demeaning. I mean, yes, it's demeaning.
we
but I mean,
never
like,
saw once that he talked back. Now, I'm not trying to be insensitive, but I've never been in a situation where I've spoken to someone that has not been able to speak back. You know what I mean? Like, like people do that when people are in comas, and I believe in that. I believe, like, you know, there are people who have, you know, people have said that they have heard someone and it affected what they were seeing when they were in a coma. Yeah. So I believe comas are way different, but you know, with Glass, you never even see him. They have him so doped up he can't even speak.
Yeah.
He's twitching that whole time. He shines the light straight in his eyes, and he's just doing the same twitching. And it's like, I'm not trying to be rude, but I don't think everything's there. You know what I mean?
That was a cool little, not intro, but the line that they said that it gave a little background to his character to be. It made us be like, oh, that guy must be actually super crazy smart, because she said he was so smart we had to drug the hell out of him because he shut down an entire hospital.
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
he memorized the plans of one blueprint from an electrician, and shut down the whole power. And it's like, damn, you know. And like, think about it. If he got out while drugged out of his mind, and he knew to pick up, like, he was able to pick up, you know, aspirin, and make it seem like he was just crazy, because they were like, your one job, let's pose ourselves in this situation. Your one job is to make sure these hyper superhero criminals, well, I mean, they only think they're crazy, but these crazy people who could hurt people and themselves from getting out, and all of a sudden the door is wide open and he's sitting there just...
I'd be terrified.
And they say, he was so genius, we had to drug him out of his mind. There's no way he's just sitting there, like, listening to the music.
If they were like, oh, I mean, that door has a key card. That's a big door. And they were just kind of like, how'd you get out?
How'd you get out? Well, I guess we'll put him back in before you get in trouble. Ha ha.
That was crazy when not Kevin, but, you know, like Kevin's characters, of when he's trying to steal the key card for that first time.
Oh, yeah.
That was crazy when he jumps at that guy. Then he jump out? Wait, what does he do?
He's on the floor as Jade, and he tells him to pick up the insulin.
But then how does he grab
and then he stands up, and then he jumps at him.
Is that what it was?
Yeah, he jumps at him, and I know that because then all of a sudden the guy is able to turn him and move his head away, so he sees it.
That was kind of almost disturbing, where he's like just flashing the lights for like 5 minutes.
Yeah,
I thought something was actually going to happen to
I was spooked,
because I thought there was going to be some sort of damage almost.
Really?
Well, in terms of like Kevin,
I mean, he was being rapid switched. I wouldn't be surprised.
That's why I thought it would be something like somehow that would damage one of the personalities, or somehow fuel the beast somehow. I don't know. I mean, it was a weird thought of just like, this guy's going hard on that switching. Yeah, that something would happen. It's probably just a way for us to be able to see those personalities I was talking about.
I mean,
earlier.
It was scary to me too. I was thinking that same thing. I was like,
well,
damn.
Some of them we didn't even see. It was just focused on the guy's face, which is what was so great about McAvoy's performance in this, is that, and it's so incredible in Split. A ton of the actual character comes from his face. Yeah, just, you know, how light and like free it is when he's Hedwig, but then when he's Patricia, he's like the most stern, and he like keeps his mouth real tight.
I think almost I would not be surprised if someone was able to take a picture from each of like random points in this movie and tell you who he is at that
But yeah,
moment.
and, like, when
because
he's,
he is expressive.
What's the is it like Dean or something? It's something like
D. It starts with a D.
Yeah, when he's the kind of hardcore dude.
Yeah,
that's with Patricia.
That's like, I don't like anything we're doing.
I don't remember his name from Split either, but he's like just super stern, and he's like this, like army military guy, and he's just like, he's so hardcore, and you can just tell that that's who he is at that time. I don't like. It was just he's so.
Can we get another round of applause for
get my
James
man
McAvoy?
James McAvoy an award, please
something. You know what? if he doesn't get an award for this, we'll make him an award. Like, we should make him an award ourselves and send it to him personally, mentioning obviously our very prosperous
well, then even
podcast.
At the end, he's having to act as these like 7 different characters as he's shot. And they're trying to convince Casey that the other one was right or wrong. Which it's just so good. It's so good.
Again, I want to bring up this scene. That scene was moving in so many ways. I mean,
when he's with Casey at the end.
Yeah, and he's bleeding out. Like, he's just gotten a sniper bullet to the gut. And I mean, I'm not trying to impose anything on Kevin here, but most people go into shock when that happens. So imagine the kind of shit that's going on in his mind when each and every one of these characters is not only, because we know that they sometimes are lost for where they are, right? When they're suddenly brought back. All these characters are, one, like, where am I? Why am I shot? What's going on? And then also, like, holy, I'm trying to keep the light. And it is so...
Each character is slowly dying.
Oh, it is incredible. And it's really moving. Each of these characters... The writing was incredible for this character. I am convinced I have to see Split before I die. I mean, before I meet a sniper bullet like James McAvoy did. Yeah, before I die, I got to see that movie. So, we'll set that up. We'll set that
before you die. Oh, I only got 80 more years to Split.
Just an incredible scene. Very moving. Again,
so is that your selected scene? So if this is the first time you're hearing this, like we've been trying out this selected scene where we think about how there's always that one scene in a movie when you think of that movie, you think of that scene, or like a scene that sticks with you. Yeah. Where, like, if you telling somebody about a movie. Yeah. Or like if you meet somebody and they're like, oh yeah, I saw this movie, and you're like, oh, I saw that one too. What do you think about this scene? What's that scene that you select in your head that you're gonna remember? When you hear the movie title, you think of, damn, that's so right. Yours is his and Casey's? Right at the end?
I don't know. There were a lot of scenes that were just...
It's hard, too, because there's 4 main characters. So
it's and it's I feel kind of bad because I didn't watch Split, so I feel like James McAvoy might be stealing Glass's thunder here. Yeah. But I think it might be. I think that's my selected scene. I really wanted it to be something with... I mean, there were so many parts where Samuel L. Jackson just played just the perfect role for this guy. And he was
looking fly in that purple jumpsuit.
Seriously? Yeah. I wanted to see... I just wanted him doing stuff in that.
I wanted to see him standing up in it.
Like, and walking in that cane. I want to see the prequels. I want to see the prequel where he goes into the train and blows and throws this... I mean, it wouldn't be that interesting because none of the others are superheroes, so it's like... It'd just be this guy walking into a train and crashing it.
He looked mad in that thing.
Yeah.
Like, when then the gloves and the white collared shirt with the MG.
With the MG? Yeah. Oh, my. He was looking fly as hell.
How did he have Beast put that on him?
Like, no, he can probably dress himself.
He can't stand up. How did he get those clothes on?
You can't put clothes on while you're laying down?
He wasn't laying down. I don't know. It was just a funny thought that, like, because he gets out of the psych ward and then he goes into
Beast.
Beast. I'm just thinking of Beast trying to dress Glass.
Beast doesn't seem like the kind of guy to have the patience for that kind of thing.
He's like,
anyway, enough about Glass in the sexy suit. What is your selected scene?
You didn't say yours. So yours is the...
I did say. I said... I would choose that one. I'd have to.
Which one?
Casey and Kevin.
And Kevin right at the end.
Well, the whole scene where he's dying.
Yeah. Yeah, that one was pretty powerful when he's like, I'm holding onto the light now.
Yeah.
Because it's now 2 movies of him dealing with that.
Especially, like...
Pretty powerful.
I mean, you know, it could have totally been done wrong. It could have totally been like, wait, that's kind of cheesy. You know, what's going on right there.
Yeah.
You know, this is pretty expected. But honestly, it was perfectly done, perfectly written. It really seemed realistic. And I don't know. It was a great scene. God. Especially just the suddenness of it. You know, it's totally like a bullet, you know? It hits him, and then all of a sudden he looks down, and bam, he's just splurting blood. I mean, it was really moving. It's like, oh my, no.
Well, because he was Kevin, and then he got shot, and then he switched, and then he was Kevin again at the end.
God.
You know, because, you know,
yeah, that has to be
she
it.
thought he was saving, or she thought she was saving him.
By keeping him.
And then all of a sudden he gets shot.
Yeah.
Because she was like, will you stay with me? He's like,
that was the tragic part of it all.
Yeah. He's a sad, interesting character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, all of them really are. I think all of them in their own right could have a movie associated with them, you know? I mean, I think they're all...
They do.
No, like, each individual one could have a movie of themselves.
I mean, they do.
No.
Yeah, Unbreakable, Split, and Glass.
No, I meant Kevin. His personalities.
Oh.
Wait, you're telling me there's a movie of the other two? There isn't just a movie of Glass? Wow, I gotta see those.
Mine is definitely, like, in the entirety, it's a long scene, you know, whatever, but in the entirety of the interrogation, the 3-on-1 therapy session in the pink room.
Oh, yeah.
The pink room made no sense. They didn't explain that. There was like 3 guards in the room. Like,
oh yeah,
it was kind of weird.
It was a long room.
It was long, and there was windows everywhere.
Yeah.
Like, if you're gonna be having all 3 of those they're not super geniuses, superheroes.
Yeah.
In one room, like, shouldn't you be underground somehow or something? Like, they were just in a wing somewhere. Anyway, it was just, that was so crazy, the breakdown of these people, and they're looking right next to each other, and obviously Dunn and you know, the Beast sitting next to him had already had an altercation, and now they're seeing him. That shot where they saw each other across the hallway, because it was, the whole movie was super slow at that point, because we're just figuring out where they are, what's going on, who's this psych lady, and then all of a sudden they see each other and everything ramps up. Like, that was like, oh shoot, and like the music swells.
The Beast, like, literally takes the light, like, constantly for like several hours, just trying to get to him.
Well, and then that's like the first time that he gets watered, that Dunn gets watered, because he's like, you gotta like not have him here. That part was crazy. But anyways, so they're like sitting next to each other, and they're like having to just deal with it. You know, he's just sitting there because he has the lights. Glass can't move, and then Dunn is chained up, so it's kind of interesting to see the kind of precautions they had for each one. But just the shots of them sitting next to each other and like having to be interrogated, and, you know, I mean, it's not really an interrogation, but their kind of therapy session right next to each other while she's trying to figure it out. I mean, because it was so interesting how she was trying to like figure out one at a time, but also using one of the exactly against the other one.
Exactly. It was a deconstruction
because
of
she was talking to
Dunn
about Hedwig's clothes to prove Dunn's fake. And so it was really interesting how it bounced around.
I mean, and here's the beauty of it, and here's why I still think that it was a great movie for Glass himself, right? Is that these two characters are being deconstructed. They're being taken of what they believe to be them, and just being deciphered, just deconstructed, destroyed. Like you said, using one argument for the other and applying it and saying, how about you? What do you think? And then they're recognizing these scenes, you know, like Dunn recognized that scene where he remembers feeling helpless, and she's reading him like a book, right? And he doesn't admit it, of course, but he's nervous now. And the only one, you know, and we've got 2 characters, 3 superheroes, each of them with a downside, with a weakness, you know, lights, water.
Well, it's not really just lights, but
well,
you mean like they're kryptonite?
Yeah, they're kryptonite. Yeah. You know, and then you've got the only one who's actually so much of a threat, they literally can't have him not on his kryptonite. He is literally injected with like mind-numbing medicine to the point that he can't even talk. He can't even really exist in the same plane, and that's when it really hit me like, this guy's the real OG.
Well, and that whole time that they're being deconstructed, he's just downloading all the information. Like, he's just taking it all in and being like, okay, she's doing the work for me, basically. You know?
Well, I mean, he was like, damn, I gotta unwrite these wrongs.
You know, real quick, you know what I thought was happening when there was that kind of montage of them putting up all the cameras?
Oh, yeah?
What I actually thought what was happening was that secretly Dunn and his surveillance shop, I thought he hid stuff in those to wire it to the son at the business, and I thought there was going to be some weird thing where the son ends up breaking him out.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, like he's got this figured out maybe, where they use his equipment and that's how he gets out.
Because they totally insinuated that when that guy came in to buy that equipment.
You know who that is, right?
No.
That's the director. That's M. Night Shyamalan.
Wait, that was him?
Yeah, he cameos in all his movies.
I know he does.
Yeah,
I just didn't recognize him.
Mm-hmm. And that was a funny part where he stops at Bruce Willis. He's like, "Do I recognize you?"
Oh.
And he's like, "Yeah, like 15 years ago when they made the movie." He was like,
"Oh."
He's like, "Oh yeah, I worked at football thing or whatever he said."
They've done a few too together, right? Like
yeah,
they did Sixth Sense together.
That was just the joke that like
they've done.
Have I seen you before?
Yeah,
you look familiar. But yeah,
that's funny. Actually,
yeah, he always is like a cameo in his.
I know he does. Yeah,
that's why I laughed during that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because I chuckled like right when he's on screen. I was like, there it is. Because in Split he was like kind of in the middle. But yeah, that was funny. One last question before we wrap up. So we were talking earlier about the clover or whatever they're called, which is kind of badass, honestly.
Yeah.
The little clover, just a tiny little thing on the wrist. Okay, we don't have to get all the way into it, but like the whole weird secret meeting where they're at a restaurant and they have to wait till the last person leaves.
Yeah,
like, that was really weird.
It's like, how do they know? Are they always showing their wrists so then everyone is logging? Okay, wait, there's only one more normal person?
And they're just at a restaurant? Like,
yeah.
I don't know. But anyways.
And then they change restaurants. Yeah. So it's like, what are you guys doing?
They were talking about it like, you know, we were saying it earlier about the 10,000 years ago, we've always had this kind of thing. So are we supposed to assume that the clover's been around that whole time?
Yeah.
Like, so it's the secret Illuminati society keeping humans in the dark, is what I was going to say. But like,
well, they kill off people who are superhero.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like keeping normal humans in the dark of knowing that this even exists, which it was weird. It's interesting because you know you don't really have that. You don't really have like, you know, you always have the superheroes that defeat the supervillains, but now there's a secret society to be like, no, they can't know anything.
Because I mean, and it's great, and this is the beauty of the movie is that it insinuates like I said, there's two protagonists. There's three protagonists. And an antagonist, which is the cult, you know, and then there's the Glass, Kevin.
Would you have a whole movie about them, the Clover?
No, it'd be way too boring.
Really?
Yeah,
I would want to know. You know what I want? I would want a Netflix like miniseries of them, like their backstory. They're kind of like if they had like MI5 or whatever.
They would need to have several like interesting and cool. I like them. I want to see more of them. I need to see them destroying other superheroes. That's what I need to see.
At the same time, it could end up being almost like a xenomorph type thing, where the more you learn about it, the less scary it gets. So that's in a way, almost it might be cooler that they're just like right at the end. We're just like, what? What is happening? It might be almost cooler to just kind of get those little hints.
I gotta be honest. When I saw the whole scene where they all go quiet in this like in this restaurant, I was less scared of them. I'm like, oh, okay, it's one of these. Not just like imagine if you had just seen these clovers and you knew they were related, and then they didn't show these meetings. You know what I mean? Like,
I think the point is that they're supposed to be so secretive that they have to always look like regular people just at a restaurant. So it's not like this kind of secret government society or whatever that they like meet at this.
It just kind of gave me that feeling anyway.
Weird location. I don't know. It was an interesting take.
It was better than them meeting in like, you know, with dark. You know, you can't see their faces.
It was interesting. I don't remember where I was going with that, but
someone could sell it to me. Someone could sell a miniseries to me about the Clover Gang. That's what we're gonna call them from now on.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel bad just because I do want to talk about Glass more, but it's just like I said, it's just so hard because like McAvoy just steals it.
He wasn't in for the first hour and a half.
Yeah.
So it's really hard. I would like more on Glass, but we've already seen all of it. You know, this is him, which I find the quote with "This is an origin story."
Oh yeah.
That was really, really moving.
You think
really
there's gonna be another one?
There has to be. If I will riot if there isn't.
But how?
I don't know. They better figure it out.
Oh well, I guess they kind of let it into just being like now everybody knows they're superheroes, so maybe more will pop up.
Yeah, but Glass better be alive still.
There's no glass bones, and he gets punched in his stomach. He's gone.
Yeah, the beast
like the
punched
shoulder,
him.
The shoulder he would survive.
Yeah,
you know, it's just a broken shoulder. But like,
and then he punched in his like
sucker
chest,
right in the chest. Yeah,
and then his whole gut just got.
But yeah, that's
destroyed.
Massive internal bleeding.
Yeah,
like you're gone.
Well, it's only his bones that are breakable.
Yeah, but those bones shatter, then they hit your intestines.
Yeah,
and they pierce your lungs.
Yeah, he's dead.
I mean, the second he got hit, he was spitting up blood.
Yeah, it was all over his face in that ending scene, which really spooked me.
Yeah, anyway. it's just hard because like at least for me, I don't know about other people, but like McAvoy just stole the show again. Like he's just too good at that. He's so freaking good at playing those guys.
I think that if anyone got overshadowed, it was definitely Dunn. Dunn was definitely the overshadowed one.
Really? I think Glass definitely was because I was just focused on the other two.
Dunn got so little screen time.
You know who got overshadowed? Glass's mom. I wanted to see more of her.
How do you grow up? How do you raise a child?
I thought that was his
breakable.
Because like Glass was so old, and the mom looked like the same age.
Yeah.
And then I was just like, wait, that's his mom?
I can see it.
I thought it was his wife.
She looked good for her age. Anyway.
Okay. Well, all in all, yeah, it was a really, really good movie. Like it was great, but I don't know. At least for right now, you know, we're only a couple hours after seeing it. The only thing I can still say is the same word as before. It's just confused. I still haven't really broken it down, and it's one of those ones that it's just so much was happening, and there's so many twists, and there was so many different weird side things going on that that's all I can think of is just confusing. It was badass and amazing, and the stories and the way they tied in these three characters together with two having previous movies, but not using just the Marvel formula of just, okay, they had the separate movies of their own stuff, now let's just make them do stuff together. It was a different way of saying, like, they're not coming together to battle Ultron or something, like one bad guy. It's like it was its own story in the tie-in itself. I thought they did amazing on it. I mean, well, M. Night Shyamalan was the main writer director, but obviously, you know, the whole team. Which is that's crazy too. Like this is just coming out of his brain. Like all these stories are just coming.
That's
out
true.
Of
this is a totally original idea. Yeah,
that's what I thought with Split too. I was like, that was one of the craziest original things that I've seen.
Yeah,
it's just like the DID.
Really impressive.
Split personalities, and then he's just like, there's 23 and all this stuff. I think it was 23. It was either 21 or 23 or something like that. Maybe it was 27.
I remember there being a 4 at the end of it.
I don't know. 64. For all we know.
204.
Yeah, it was great, but I don't know. I'm still pretty confused by it. A couple hours after seeing it, I personally think I like Split better. But
I haven't seen Split, so I say this is incredible. Best movie ever.
So are you gonna watch both?
Oh, I'm gonna watch Split again.
No. What?
Or I mean, not Split again. I mean, I'm gonna watch Split.
But are you gonna watch both, Unbreakable and Split, or just Split?
Well, I mean, like you said, it's old. I don't watch old movies.
Just because it's old doesn't mean it's like.
What was it made?
I don't know. The 90s sometime.
Oh my God! Well, if it's older than me, I'm not gonna. No. Yeah, I'll go ahead and give it a look. I mean, especially because I feel Dunn was undid in the justice compared to the other two. So, yeah.
Okay, guys. Well, if you want to let us know what you thought on Glass, or if we missed anything, we probably missed a lot.
Oh,
honestly.
A lot.
I mean, there's so much in this. Like, I'm guaranteed that somebody has noticed something else. But like, so if you want to let us know if you caught anything we didn't, or you didn't like that we didn't talk about a certain thing, or we just like loved McAvoy too much, we didn't talk about Glass, whatever, you can let us know at our email at themidnightshowingpod@gmail.com. You can hit us up on our socials. Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube is all the same at The Midnight Showing. And our Twitter is backwards at Showing Midnight. So let us know what you thought, and let us know what you think of the show.
Yeah, go ahead and let us know if you would like to see a whole mini-series on Netflix about the Clover Gang, and their antics.
Let's just call up our Netflix associate.
Hey,
and say, get this made.
Get M. Night Shyamalan in here as an advisor. Go ahead and draft up the first things. If the first pilot isn't out within the next week,
I wouldn't want the Clover Gang. I would just want more of Split and McAvoy, and just as much as I can get of that. It's just so
Glass.
It's so good. Okay, guys. See you next time.
Bye.